Welcome to Shorty SuperCoach, guys. How's it going? It's been a while. I did return a couple of days ago. Me and Langers did the team picker, but this is my return in Shorty's bedroom, just one-on-one with you guys. So, yeah, what's been going on? I hope you've been well. Since I last spoke to you, don't know what's been happening, but I have had a mustache since then, so that was a bit different. Got dobbed in for November. I'll have to fill you in on how that one went on another day, but you can check out some photos of that on my TikTok. But yeah, I'm on holidays now. Today was the first day of holidays for me, so on Thursday I'll probably put this one out over the weekend. But yeah, it's just been busy at work and pretty keen to just kick back with some holidays, have a fairly chill Christmas, and then yeah, going away to Early Beach in January and going to Joanna near Apollo Bay for a little bit in January as well. So I'll schedule a few videos out there, but January will be pretty busy, which will be nice because if you guys don't know, I work at high school now, so Shorty's pretty lucky getting about 5 weeks off over the summer break, which is pretty handy. But from a footy sense, gee, round zero, what is that? What is that about? Oh, I'm not so sure. And look, we'll look at the team picker in a sec, but this year is going to be a prick. I'm just putting that out there. This is going to be a tough year. Like, you've got buys all over the place. If you're just catching up with it, opening round zero, whatever you want to call it, 4 matches, so 8 clubs will play. They're trying to take the rugby turf while they're in Las Vegas. But we'll just watch on as super coaches. So there won't be any actual matches or points going towards your overall total. Those players will get points and score, and it'll go to their value and price and that, but it won't actually be relevant for our rankings or anything like that. So, and then for when there are buys, it'll be the old best 18. So much like we've had in other buy weeks, best 18 scorers go through. So this team picker will be totally oblivious to any buys or structures or anything like that. And I haven't even looked at too much. So it'll be, there'll probably be some players who are like, whoa, how did you not have this bloke? But I haven't really dived in too much. But I'm pretty excited. It is exciting when the team picker drops because you're like, look at this saucy little clean slate here for us to work with. And you're full of hope at this stage. I certainly get SuperCoach fatigue towards the end of the year, or your side's not going as well as you'd hoped. And it's a big year, particularly doing all the content. But at this stage, we're full of life. We're full of optimism. And I like it. So, yeah, feel free to drop in any questions you got for me. I won't, I've got plenty of stories for you. A few things have been happening, but I won't drop any of those today because, well, I'm a bit tired and I just want to watch Breaking Bad. But I think we'll just focus in on the team picker because it might take a little while. I'm pretty much just winging it. I'll just go through selection by selection and just try and make a few changes and have a rough idea of what my initial team will be. But it's very, very much a work in progress, as you could imagine. And don't worry too much about the rookies. Don't worry too much about them. But forward line, going to be very interested to hear people's thoughts on the forward line. That is an absolute prick. That is going to be as hard a work as I've seen. I've got 5 next-gen midfielders that I absolutely want to start. I'm really keen on those. But, hey, let's dive into the backline. I hope you guys have been well. It's nice to be back. Nick Dacos, straight up, lock him in. I mean, you got to, don't you? Sheasel's an interesting one. I feel like he's obviously a bit pricier now, and will he play half-back? Will he go forward? But he's a guy that I want to keep an eye on. But you've got to go with Tommy Stewart. We love Tommy Stewart. So they're probably my 2 absolute superstar guns. Ridley, I think with Mackay coming to the Bombers, you got to have a real consideration of him. But I am going to go Hayden Young at this stage. Really like that back half. Well, not even a half. Probably last 5 or 6 weeks. He went in the midfield and he looked really, really good. So he sort of got that tall midfielder, big body vibe about him, and I think if we get a sniff of him playing that role again, which you'd imagine he would through pre-season, then he's a lock for me. And look, I'm just going to throw this bloke in too. Bit mid-pricer, but who knows? It's bloody December, so where is he? I've scrolled past him, I think. What's he priced at? There he is, Kitty Coleman. Zach Williams also. That was one me and Langers didn't mention, but Williams at a great price as well. So spending a little bit of coin in the back line, and I also think Curtin a great option. So a bit of coin being spent down back. I'll round out those rookies in a moment. But I really like Coleman. He had 120 plus out of 2 of his 3 finals. Pretty quiet in the other final, but he does need to build up that tank. He's a beautiful ball user, a lovely weighted kick. I love watching him kick, and we've sort of been waiting for Daniel Rich to just move off into the sunset, and he did, and we saw glimpses from Coleman, but I just think it wasn't like a clean swap. Doing that changeover from Rich to Coleman mid-season would be tough, so I just feel like if he is really that designated kicker out of the back line for the Lions throughout the pre-season, he's geared up for a big year, I reckon, so... now let's just go bang 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 with my next gen mids. Now I'm not going huge on these prices here, not going some of the top guys, but like I said, I'm feeling next gen, and that's Butters, that's Davies Uniacke, and it's my mate Errol Goulden, who absolutely haunted me last year, but not this year. I'll be with him. And you got to have Tom Green, and then as we scroll a little bit further, I think Sam Walsh is also bit underpriced, to be fair. I think 576 for him is actually pretty good. I think he'll spend a lot of time over 600k this year, and I think he'll average 110. But so I've sort of gone bang here, pretty heavy spend already. I've spent over half my salary cap off like 10, 11 players, but forward line's going to be cheap as chips. We'll talk about that in a second. I just don't think you can, at this stage, put your money anywhere near half of the blokes in the forward line, because we just don't have a clue what's going on, and there are no real guys that we go, yep, lock him in. It's really, really tough as I've seen. So I really like this. I mean, obviously, Bontempelli's a star, and Tuke Miller, could be very underpriced. So we'll see where that all goes. But I really like the idea of these guys are on the scene already in a big way, but I can only see them getting better. And I know they've had their downsides for certain periods. Davies Uniacke has struggled with the body, and Walsh, has had some concerns. And, some people might be like, well, they haven't got the runs on the board for year upon year upon year, but they're superstars. And look, sometimes at this stage of the year, you just want to pick blokes that you love watching. So it'll be nice to watch Goulden rack up 40 and kick 2 and not have me tearing my hair out. So that should be nice. This year's going to be really interesting too, just how we approach it, whether it's guns and rookies, as always, or if we shake it up with some mid-price guys, depending on the buy structure and that type of thing. And look, I'll hone in on that at a later stage, but I don't recall being too much jumping out at me from a mid-price point of view. Because there's Miller, that's an interesting one. Some might view Jack Steele as a bit of value because he was apparently carrying a bit for most of last year. Old mate Flanders, we'll look at him in the forward line. But yeah, I might just roll through and see if anyone grabs me. Oh, here's one for you. Here's one. This will blow your socks off, right? This man. So when he's averaging 90 after 7 weeks, just remember that Shorty told you first. Ruben Jimby, I reckon he's going to be a star this year. I think he's ready-made for AFL footy, and he showed a fair bit of that last year. But obviously, debut year, got injured. It's pretty difficult. Not everyone's Nick Dacos. So it was pretty impressive. I think he's burst on the scene, winning the time trial. We don't always take time trials super serious, but Dom Sheed's gone down, and with a few retirements, he's going to get some genuine midfield time, and he's not crazy cheap, but at this stage of the year, I want to put him in. I want to put him there, and I want to be like, look, just keep an eye on him. Didn't work out for me last year with Nasai Wanganeen Miller, which was kind of weird. It actually ended up being a pretty reasonable observation backing him in, but he just didn't do it early for me, so he killed me in the end. But if you're talking like, unique mid-prices, I'm all aboard Jimby. I think he could be really, really interesting. I think Dylan Shield just got injured again, so I don't know if too many will be going near him. Hopefully I didn't miss anyone. in that search. Bailey Smith, hey, what a disappointment, obviously for Dogs fans and for him, but he would have been the saviour to our forward line. It's not to be. And we might even just quickly roll through here, and then I'm absolutely all chips in on my Ruck combo. And it's one from the old school. You guys will enjoy it. So I reckon we'll deal with these rookies a little bit later. But yeah, for me, he hasn't been part of my team all too often, Maxi Boy. But it's a throwback to Gaundy or Graundy or whatever you people call it out there. Max Gawn, Brodie Grundy, lock and load them, and we'll chuck in some bloody spud here who's got some forward ruck eligibility. I'm scrolling the wrong way here. That's it. Finbar. Jesus, what a name. I think it's super simple, and one of my biggest ticks from last year was picking English and Marshall from the top. From the get-go, and it worked out beautifully for me. There were certainly a few mistakes in between all of that, but got the rucks nicely last year, and I'm feeling pretty confident with them again, just keeping it real simple. The forward line. Now, start at the top, Jack McRae. Any other year would have absolutely loved him, but I don't know. I really don't know. I think before Smith went down, I was like, gee, I don't know, because he was starting to get pushed out to half or flank and even wings and that type of thing. When you look at Smith going down, who's that really going to impact and who could step up and fill that void? Clearly, it's McRae. Beveridge makes me super nervous, but Riley West might be someone that could. I mean, we're not going to pick him, but this will, I'd imagine, give us a good insight to it. So McRae, we were used to him doing some insane stuff in the centre bounce, and look at that. He barely went over 60, barely 50. So if you look at that compared to, say, 2022, and when he was absolutely dominant, he's one of their best. They're number one midfielder in terms of centre bounce attendance. So Liberatore probably went back in there a bit more, and they were pretty simple in there. It was Bont, Liberatore, and Treloar. That was their chosen one. So it may not change, because while Smith goes down, it actually doesn't open up that much midfield time in the centre bounce, because Smith was struggling to get that too, which why he was going to be some decent value. So it doesn't exactly mean that McRae's going to be a good option. So I've spent a bit of coin already. I'm going to leave him out. And, Jackson teaming up with Darcy, it just doesn't feel right to me. It feels a bit Gawn and Grundy-like. One will be happy, the other won't be. So, look, when you got Charlie Curnow as your third best, and then some inconsistent Tigers, and, I don't know, Caleb Daniel could be a beneficiary, but again, I don't really like that, and I don't really feel the need to spend or want to spend too much coin, but Sam Flanders presents a lot of value. He's that classic, had a great portion of the year, second half of the year. And I expect Miller to get a bit more centre bounce time, and Flanders certainly benefited from Miller being out of the team for a bit, but I think he found his place and he played beautiful footy. Why on earth would they change it? So he is certainly underpriced, given he did struggle for a bit last year, but once he found his exact role, he absolutely flew. So it seems like a clear option for me. And look, I don't want to be a little crazy out there, but I'm not going to pick him at this stage. But Isaac Heaney, Callum Mills is out. I guess they bring in Taylor Adams, but it'd be an absolute crime if Heaney played his whole career as a mid-forward, like a medium-sized forward. It'd be a crime. It'd be criminal if we never saw him unleashed in the midfield. So I dream every time this year. Every preseason I'm like, just give him midfield time, please. But until we see it, we're going to go nowhere bloody near him. So this is where it's going to get a little funky. Some will consider Taylor Adams, and his body's pretty cooked. I don't really like it, but if he did get that midfield role on the inside at that price, and with what we've got to contend with in the forward line, you have to consider him. But at this stage, no, thank you. How are we going for time? Josh Richelli, he'll excite a few. big talk over in South Australia that he'll get a little bit more midfield time. They all are at this stage of the year, but again, I want to just wait and see if that is the case before pulling any triggers on that. There are a couple of names that I will get a little bit excited about, and they're a little bit left of field, and Zach Fisher is one of those. We certainly don't want Zachy Boy being our F2, but the fact is it's struggle street in the forward line. He goes to North Melbourne, who I think their previous halfback flankers who would dominate were Aaron Hall, Jack Zeeble. You know, I don't know if Clarko seems to hate Aaron Hall, and surely Jack Zeeble is moving on with things. So I think Fisher could really find a nice role at halfback, which he did play some really nice footy as a blue when he did get opportunities off the halfback line. Archie Perkins, again, if we could see some midfield time, he's someone to get excited about. But yeah, unless you're sure of something, why spend the money? So that's why we're going cheap, because I'm not sure on much. And Bailey Humphrey's another guy. I think these young 18-year-olds come into the competition so much more prepared for the game. And a bit like Jimby, had a good first year, showed some good signs, but wouldn't shock me if he really stepped it up in his second year. So he's someone that I want to just have on my radar for the moment. And then, gee, from memory, it really drops away. I mean, there's West, but he's not even that cheap. There are a few good rookies, which is handy. Because there ain't much else. There ain't much else. I mean, you wouldn't go Fife, would you? You wouldn't do that. Jesus, you'd be a brave soul to do that. And then yeah, we're pretty much getting into, you know, Dev Robertson. He probably needs to find more midfield time. I don't know if it's there. I would imagine Sardis would be someone that might excite a few, so I'm going to chuck him in there. And then I think we're pretty much getting the point where Harley Reid will pop up here pretty soon. So yeah, there's a few other rookies, and I'll pretty much round it out. We've only got 1.1 mil, so we're really going to have to go pretty low-end rookies, but let's see how we can fill this side out. So what have we got? We got 3 there, 5 there, 2 there. So that's what, 10. We've got 1.1 mil, so things are going to be a little tight. I think we're going to have to change a couple of bits and pieces, but let's look at rookies in the midfield. What have we got here? Might just go up a bit because I think so. Yeah, Dersma. I mean, McKirch is probably one that'll be really popular as well. At this stage, I'll just leave him out because I sort of need to snare some cash somewhere. Well, Jai Clark, I definitely love. I guess I'll just scroll all the way down again. And like I said before, it doesn't really matter at this stage. Like, I mean, we're so far out. Who cares? But we'll probably chuck Wilson in the forward line. We can really just round it out with bloody whoever. Sharp is a bit of a popular one, and surely Sin starts to get some opportunities. What do we got down back? Yeah, we're definitely, I mean, for the purpose of filling out my side, I'll probably have to drop one of those awkward mid-price guys. Oh, Zach Reid, handy. And I think Gibcus as well is at a decent price, but Granger Barras. Anyone else? See, Granger Barras is really interesting. Like, oh yeah, Lang has mentioned Caulfield, and I don't mind that. But yeah, Granger Barras, you just feel like so much talent. Like, what's going on? But he's has not ever looked like it so far. What have we got rolling around here? We've got Reid. I mean, Cadman. Could Cadman get some extra opportunities? He's probably still pretty young in his development, so you wouldn't think he's going to get too many opportunities with Riccardi and who we got, Hogan. I'm going to go Tyler Sonsie. I was writing a few notes down the other day. Actually, who did I have in my notes? Just when I was thinking about it, didn't have any prices, didn't have any real guide. I was just doing some thinking, and I wrote some names down. Where are they? I wrote down Sam Darcy, Elijah Sardis, Tyler Sonsie, Ruben Jimby, Aaron Cadman, Zach Fisher, Zach Williams, Kitty Coleman, Cam Guthrie, Sam Flanders, Ruben Jimby. So there are just a few names that I randomly wrote down. But yeah, Sonsie clearly needs a big preseason, but I'm basing it on nothing but gut feel. And he's maybe not the best bloke because he king hit someone. Like, is he even qualified for round one? I don't even know. But I can't remember if he filled up that band by the time the year was out. I don't even know. But we might need to just cut him just for money's sake anyway soon. But I think he can play. He's obviously been in the headlines for all the wrong reasons so far. Let's just chuck him in. So what do we got? We got 2 spots and 102k. So times be tough. What can we chop and change around? I mean, clearly Jimby's probably the one, isn't he? Coleman's probably, yeah, tricky one. I'm pretty happy with my primos. Let's look for just the sake of rounding out the team, and in reality it's a long way out, so who really cares? But what bobs up around here, because I've probably got to free up quite a bit of... If Sam Berry can work his way back into the team, he was someone who really had a rough year last year. Very surprised that he didn't kick on. So then, yeah, we've got a little bit of coin to work with just to round things out. Let's go Sanders, and then probably... Oh, no, that's not going to work. That ain't going to work. We're going to have to go probably a couple of 123, 117 lads, shall we? Who are we going to go? Oh, Shawnee Manor. That was a good one that Lang has mentioned as well. Mature age at the Cats. And, it's not overly important, so I guess I could just pick any old bastard. But here I am scrolling through like my life depends on it. But let's see if anyone... They're a big fan of Bins. All the Carlton blokes love him. So there you go. That is my first team of the year. Like I said, if you watched my video the other day with Langers, that was just a bit of us combining our thoughts and throwing in some names. It was more of just a winging it, really. But this is more my thoughts and how I would go about it. Clearly, I think the backline, there are some good options. I'm a little bit heavy there, but I mean, I'd rather go a bit heavier there and heavy in the midfield and go light on in the forward line. If McRae was getting those midfield minutes, then look, you'd just shuffle things around. And in reality, am I going to have the guts to start a Jimby or a Coleman? I don't know. I haven't even looked at any buy structures or anything like that. But it's just got all the usual names. Some of the big drafties, you could put Dersmer in there as well. So, yeah, there's certainly a few things to throw around and a lot that we'll learn through the pre-season, so it's not worth getting too over-involved in these sort of teams. It's bloody December 21, so let's not get too in-depth, but I do really like that midfield, and I like the idea of watching some of the guns that I think will be around for the next 10 years dominating our game. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts on this team, on other players. Let me know how you've been going. It's been a while. So, yeah, I'll be getting back into my club-by-club previews. I want to sort of smash them out a little bit quicker this year, but I always say that. It never really happens. But, yeah, we'll just see how we go. I mean, we're back in business now with the team picker. So, like I said before, going away for half of Jan. So I'll just do my best to schedule some videos. But, yeah, it's good to be back. Hope you guys have been well out there, and it'd be nice to hear from you. So, yeah, I'll be back with another video in a couple of days, I'd say. Cheers.